Module 11, should I get a partner? When I'm old and dying, I plan to look back on my life and say, wow, that was an adventure. Not, wow, I sure felt safe. Tom Preston Werner, GitHub co-founder. So we're back on a topic that I'm really passionate about, and that is partnership. Now, a lot of people want partners, and it's understandable because we want to take somebody with us into the fight. You know, running a business, again, is scary, and the thought of having somebody by our side to go through that scary moment with us is really, really appealing. But I'll tell you this, guys, partnerships rarely work. I hardly ever see them work, and I've coached hundreds and hundreds of businesses around the country. A couple reasons why. When you get a partnership, you get one guy, you get two people in there in the room together making decisions, or 3 or 5 or 7 partners. The more people you have in there, the more opinions there are, and decisions can never be made. And so the business actually never moves forward because partners are always fighting about what should happen and honestly what shouldn't happen, and nobody can ever make a decision. It's mind-numbing if you sit through a partner meeting. So you need to be aware of that. And also, another problem is that partners don't always agree on money. In fact, they rarely do. One partner feels he should be paid X number of dollars, while the other partner says, you're not doing anything. Why should I pay you 100 grand a year? You're just sitting there, and I'm doing all the work. And they try to justify things, and it's literally, guys, it's a giant nightmare. So you really want to be careful if you're going to bring a partner on. And you know what happens, if you're not aware of this, obviously, when you get a partner, you're giving up some of your equity or your ownership in the company. Now, that can be a scary thing because I've actually seen people partner themselves out of a business. I know one guy in particular who got a partner, and then they got another partner, and eventually his equity became less than 50%, and all of the other partners kicked him out of the business, and they took over. Just a terrible, terrible thing to watch him lose his company that he founded on his own. Another reason why we want partners is because we feel that there is a skill gap that we have. Maybe we're not good at selling, or we're not good at accounting, or we're not good at managing people. And so we want to get somebody that's really good at that skill set to act as a partner and fill in that gap so that we don't have to even think about it. This is also a dangerous thing because, if you decide to get a partner who's great at accounting, for example, you then give them all of the accounting work and you do none of it. You never think about the accounting, you never pay attention to the finances, whatever it is. They're in control of everything, guys. And you need to be aware that you've given them the reins to your business in 100% fashion in that section, right? Don't ever bring on a partner because you feel like you have a skill set you need to fill. Not all of the time. There are a few skill sets that you might want to consider getting a partner for. We'll talk about that in just a second. But for me, when I started my company, I had the hard and fast rule, no partners. 1, because I didn't want to give up equity, but 2, because I didn't ever want to have to fight. I didn't want to have to go to meetings and discuss, like, what are we going to do next, and spend months trying to make a decision. I'm the kind of guy I just wanted to make a decision and move and try it in the market. If it didn't work, you adjust and you do it again. If it didn't work, you adjust until it finally works. That's why partnerships are hard, because you can't do that with partnerships. I have a client in specific that I can think of. It's a multi-million-dollar company, and they're brothers. And they came to me and said, Eddie, we were really, really good friends before the business. We did everything together. We grew up together, obviously, because we're brothers, but even after we moved out of the house, we always did everything together. And then we decided, well, we're such good friends and we're brothers, let's start this business together, and so they did. And they did grow it into a multi-million-dollar thing. But the funny thing is they hate each other now. They absolutely hate each other. And it's really sad to watch because money has come between those two brothers, and they're fighting over $50 expense items, right? One brother says, why are you spending $50 on this? That's useless. We shouldn't be doing that. And the other brother says, it's not important, man. Don't worry about it. But those kind of discussions are killing their relationship. And your brother's more important than a business. It's more important than a $50 price tag on something. But when you get into the business and you start having these conversations again and again, you lose sight of that importance of your family or your partner or your friend, and that starts to crumble away a little bit. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to look at yourself and say, if you're thinking about getting a partner, I want you to ask yourself why. Why do you feel you need a partner? Because chances are you probably don't. You're smart enough, you're capable enough to run this business. If you need help, get an employee. Get somebody to fill that space that you can pay, or again, use Upwork.com to get help with something until you make enough money. You can get employees. Don't get partners just because you're scared. Don't get partners because you feel you're not good at something. You can learn that thing. When I first started IgniteSpot, When I was an accountant, guys, I didn't know anything about web design. And I went out and I hired a web design firm to build my first website, and it was terrible. It was like the worst website ever, and I hated it. And when it was done, if I wanted to change anything, they would say, yeah, sure, we can change this block of color. We can change it from red to blue, but it'll cost you $250 to do that. I was like, I have $250. I'm a brand new company. I was stuck with this website. And I had a neighbor down the road who was phenomenal at designing websites. He was really, really good at it. And I was tempted to say, you know what, come on, let's be a partner. You can do all of the web marketing, website design and stuff. Then I remembered my goal. I don't want to be in a decision, kind of bind all of the time. I don't want to have to fight with people to move the company forward. I don't want to partner. I need help though. And so I went and asked him a couple questions about website design. I got some pointers. And then I stayed up and I learned everything I could about website design for several weeks in a row. I just late nights, but I learned it. And I developed my next website, which was slightly better than the one the company built for me, but it was still terrible. I actually went through 5 different iterations of my website until I have the current one right now at ignitespot.com, which is a website that I've built. I'm an accountant and I built that thing. My message to you is this: it doesn't matter how complex it is, you can probably learn it. I'm proud to say that I still own 100% of ignitespot.com. It is my company, and I'm very, very proud to say that I'm the owner of that. I'm proud of all of the people that work there. I'm proud of the work that we do. But I'm also grateful that I don't have 7 partners that I have to fight with and bicker about. And I'm grateful that I don't own 15% of my company, but I own 100% of it. Down the road, you're going to be grateful that you own 100% of your company if you just stick it out now and don't give up. So that's your homework today, guys. Look at yourself. Ask yourself, if you're thinking about getting a partner, why? And you better have a really, really, really good reason why. And if it's good enough, then sometimes partnerships can work. But you got to get very clear up front. If you do go down that partnership road, create an agreement up front that says exactly who's going to be doing what and for what money and all of that on paper, and sign it. Don't just go off of a handshake. All right, guys, thanks. We'll see you in the next module.